really proud to see my company sponsor such a great event. It's the first time, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the last. So quickly, my story. My name is Luís. I'm a partner with Kpmg, and I'm not an auditor. How amazing is that? So in fact, unlike most people that work at Kpmg, I was not born there. I am what we refer to as an acquisition. Some time ago, I started a company called Safira with a couple of partners of mine. And for the last 10 years, we've been doing extensive work around business process management. And that caught the attention of Kpmg around mid-2014, and they invited us over to start a worldwide center of excellence around BPM. And so we did. So we took the challenge, and 2.5 years into that acquisition, we've been doing pretty much the same all over 18 countries in the world, except we're doing it in a little different way. And that's the cognitive part of the BPM I bring here to you today. So I want to do two things during my presentation. One, I want to share our vision of process, technology, and people in light of this new cognitive age that we have upon us. I believe it's just the dawn of it. But second, I want to give you a more tangible grasp of how artificial intelligence or cognitive automation can look like in a real use case and in a real industry. And for that matter, I brought a friend with me. Not him. I brought someone smarter, an AI friend that goes by the name of Max, and he's a chatbot. So I would like to thank Bianca for making such a good case about chatbots, and she's right, it's all the rage now. And this is Jose. He's going to be with me on the keyboards. Step forward, man. And Jose is going to help me with something that no performer in his right mind should ever attempt live on a conference stage, and that is to demo software. We all know traditional software is temperamental. As robust as it may be, when it comes to demoing, it always finds new ways to break. Now imagine that with AI. And the second thing is because our friend, he's called Max, he lives up there on the cloud, and this is a basement. So, and the only way to talk to Max is through this very thin wire of Wi-Fi that you're all using right now. So everything is set for a major wreck. Stick around, it's going to be fun to watch. So I forgot to turn this on, so you got to give me like a couple of seconds until this turns green. So cognitive automation. At Kpmg, our thought leadership likes to think of it as digital labor. What we say is call it what you want, and we certainly had it called a number of things today. I think we all converge on one idea, is that something is coming, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and how. So what I say is it's time to think forward. Let's watch.
Brains. Yes, that gray and white between your ears, that matter. Arguably one of your most important assets. These brains have been responsible for some pretty amazing life improvements throughout the years. Like this, and yes, even this. Then came along human brains like these, and gave birth to these brains, computer brains. Back then, as with any unfamiliar thingamajig, it was scary at first. But humans adapted, as humans do, and
Will I still have a job tomorrow? I'm not sure if that's a question on the top of mind of people in this room, but I certainly see as one that more and more people are getting from general media. We're all starting to read about the bots are coming. And to start and try answering that question, let's look at the economics of what we're talking about. Look at these numbers. I don't think I ever saw ROIs or expectations of ROIs of this order of magnitude. Last time I checked 10, 15 years ago, we started a trend about trying to get return on investment of a labor by displacing it. So someone called it labor arbitrage. That had like 30 to 40% tops of expected return on investment. We're talking about in the hundreds, and the upper hundreds of return on investment. And considering this possibility, any human in a position to leverage this will do so, or at least it will attempt. He will attempt very, very hard at doing so. So there's no stopping. And Paul was telling us that the Japan Institute of Research came out with 50% of the jobs being replaced. Our research came up with the number 45%. And this number pertains to jobs in the office. So not jobs in the factory, not jobs on the roads. So let's put aside for now those 70 million jobs that are about moving stuff and people from one place to the other, transportation. This is another 130 to 150 million jobs in the office. Is this part of a new industrial revolution? Well, I, for one, certainly hope so. This gets me out of bed every morning with a smile on my face. And I'm not afraid of a world of jobless people or dominated by robots. If we look to the other end of this timeline here, before the 1800s, some time before that, most jobs were about producing food. One millennia into that, almost no one works in agriculture, yet we still have food, we still have jobs. We will manage, all right? We always do. Sometimes a little bit too late than we hope so, but we always do. And it's certainly be another revolution, because I certainly hope them to keep coming. So for the other end again, I dream about one where we'll become a multi-planetary species, right? And I think we have some top people on the planet working on it right now. So why now, I think we heard of, but I think there's one element here that is not so often mentioned, and that is a global demographic shift. We've seen a reduction in the working age population and in the need for talent. So can we, moving forward, afford to keep these people, or our active workforce, on tasks that can be actually performed by machines? Is it a matter of, can we do this? Should we do this? Or must we do this if we are to harness our collective talent towards the future coming revolutions? So, on a more pragmatic level, the way we look at automation, employing these cognitive technologies, we look at it in 3 stages. This is one of the angles. So right there on class 1, we have the traditional or clerical, let's say, BPM plus RPA kind of automation. Secondly, we start to be able to use unstructured data. Traditional BPM is mostly about using structured data. And we get that data to feed elements of self-learning. And finally, in what we classify as class 3 or stage 3, we actually have the core competence of understanding, reasoning, and learning. So just by way of example, one of the things we're doing at Kpmg on class 3 level of automation is we're teaching Watson, in this case, IBM technology, to support audits. No wonder, we're an audit company. So what we did is we taught Watson about consumer credit loans and contracts. So now Watson is able to go through a major bank's whole set of contracts in a matter of minutes and come out with results to match against what's on the books. Whereas before it would take us weeks to analyze a sample, and we have to do this in a statistical way because it's humanly impossible to look at all those contracts in a reasonable amount of time. Now we can do a full swipe, not a sample, in a matter of minutes. And this is something unprecedented. And of course, the people that used to do that are now going to do other more added value tasks. Another angle, we look at digital labor or cognitive automation is this one, of automation versus augmentation. So on one side of the spectrum, we expect to see even higher job replacement or task replacement rates than the 45 to 50%, namely in plant operations, administrative processing kind of tasks. But on the other end of the spectrum, what we're also seeing is a human augmentation. By way of example, one that's not there is that, again, artificial intelligence, in this case, again, Watson, is being used to help doctors in medicine to prescribe much better, much more accurate cancer therapies. Okay? It has been cases reported where human doctors missed a mutation in one gene of some kind. Don't ask me too much about this, that Watson spotted. And also Watson knew that there was a more accurate therapy in that particular case. And this is a true case of human augmentation. Now, and this is where I segue into the chatbot, Max. I chose a sweet spot here, customer service, all right? Half automation, half augmentation. Before we go into that, just a little bit of background why I think chatbots are all the rage now. And for that, I think two observations are in order. One, by 2020, almost half of the active population is going to be millennials. And these people, for a lack of better classification, they have very different communication habits. They prefer to text rather than call. And it's not just them, you know. This is a true story. We have a WhatsApp group of old or former university colleagues, and the other day, one of them goes on the group and it was like freaking out because his messaging application, his Facebook Messenger had stopped working. And he was like, guys, you got to help me out. I tried everything, uninstall, install, reboot, the damn thing doesn't work. And when someone says, chill out, man, it's just Facebook Messenger. Are you kidding? I get 70% of my communication, including business, through Messenger these days. And this guy is my age, he's not a millennial. The point here being that these new communication habits are permeating into the older generation, right? I don't know how many of you have called during your stay over there, but I can't imagine how many of you have texted, all right? So, another observation is this has led to the fact that messaging applications right now have more monthly active users than their web counterparts. Messenger has more active users than Facebook on the web. The top 4 messaging apps combined now have over 4 billion active users. This is a population no one can ignore as a potential to explore in terms of business. The second observation is, out of the time that we spend on our devices, that it's not phoning, so app time, let's call it, 90%, 88 to be accurate, it's spent on 5 applications only, and out of those, 50% is spent on 1. So this is a sign of something that some people refer to as app fatigue. What we see is that people do not really want yet another application that they need to download, install, log in, and so on and so forth. And businesses are becoming aware of this fact. And they have been trying, those that are becoming aware of this have been trying to find ways to leverage this into their business interactions with their customers. And this is what leads to an idea. And actually, I saw this quote by Microsoft's CEO, Mr. Satya Nadella, that conversations are the new apps. And I think you guys are putting your company behind it with technologies like Cortana, right? So it is under these observations that we believe that this use case that we developed makes a great deal of sense. This is applied to auto insurance, especially at that particular moment where something like this happens to you. So if you think about the car accident, and especially from an insurance company point of view, this is a highly non-digital business interaction. So what do? You either do this, you call, or you fill out this kind of form, right? Or you call the police, and the police fills out something like this, and that's what gets used to kick off the process. What I'm saying is, there's a better way. I know we have those applications. Just bear with me a little bit. So probably you're going to fill out something like this, but this is what really it turns into. So I wouldn't be in the poor guy's shoes that needs to put this on some claim management system. And add that to the fact that we all carry cameras in our pockets these days. And we all probably do this. I did this the last time it happened to me. But no insurance company asked me for the pictures. I had no easy way to attach them to my file. So what we did is we tried to reimagine how the digital car accident could look like in light of the previous appointed observations. So this is where we bring in Max. Max is a car accident bot, and he lives on a messaging app of your choice. Namely, today he lives on Facebook Messenger, but not just. Right now, because we're talking about a digital interaction that we can use to collect other pieces of information, we can go through a cognitive analysis of this report, and I'm going to save the rest of this part for later when we're demoing, and then we can trigger the traditional process or process instance for managing the claim, but with much higher quality data with a prior cognitive analysis, expecting to raise the straight-through process ratios. So the bot does 3 things. He has been trained in car accidents in general, so he can help you behave or telling you how to behave in a car accident situation. And this is funny because most of the people that we ask to try out the bot, this is their first reaction. They want to know what to do. Most people don't know what to do. I didn't realize that. Maybe I'm too experienced with car accidents. And can answer questions about your policy, because it reads the information on your line of business systems, can get you roadside assistance, and it will attempt to start a claim with you in chase for that higher quality digital data. So this was built, again, with IBM. This is the technology of IBM Watson. It's available on the Bluemix cloud. And this is the combination of services that we used. So Max can actually listen. So it has speech-to-text capabilities, and it's able to talk back. We're not going to demo the last one, so the first one, but we're going to demo the talking part. And then throughout the demo, we're going to see cases of the use of the other technology bits, the cognitive bits. So this is how it looks on Facebook Messenger, but today here, we're going to use a web app version of this to show it to you because of the speech capabilities that are not available here. So Alt-Tab, please, into Max. Hello.
Hello, I'm Max. What can I do for you?
It speaks. Right, so we're just going to say something like we had an accident, and it's going to immediately offer some sort of assistance. Now, this is because we taught Max to understand that something like this would probably mean an intent to ask for an assistance. So here is where we start seeing the understanding part of this technology. So before we do that, maybe we can, ask what to do.
Go to a safe zone, away from traffic.
See?
If in the highway, get behind the rail.
Don't know if you thought about this, but safety first, right? So let's just say you did it already, you're there, something like that. And it goes on to further advice.
Call 911. If damages seem higher than 1,000 United States dollars, call the police.
Yeah.
Collect aids and policy numbers from all parties involved.
Right, so let's now take the sound off. You believe it talks, right? So, but after a while it becomes a little bit annoying. The reason why we demoed this is just to say that this is not just usable on the text channels. It can also be used over traditional voice channels with this speech capability. So we'll go on to ask for the tow truck. Of course, as you'd expect, he needs to check the policy to see if it's covered or if it's, if it's covered. So because we're on a mobile phone, we got access to the GPS coordinates. So for the sake of getting this through, we just say, yes, we're here. This is where I am. Just also send a taxi because I'm not going to go with the tow truck. And yes, let's say we are willing, although we just had an accident, to start a claim right there and then. Usually, this comes in two separate use cases, just for the sake of the demo again. So now what we're going to do, what Max tries to do immediately is to get access to the picture. And we trained the computer vision part of Max to understand what kind of collision just happened from a set of photos. Now, these are toy cars, as you can see. And right now, it only works on simple scenarios, so you can tell a side collision from a front collision from a front to back. We're just going to pick that one, yes. And now it's going to ask for what happened in there. And we're going to try and give Max some misdirection, right? So we're going to say this is a head-on collision, and because Max understands at least the collision situation, it says that from the uploaded photos, it doesn't look like it. So this is just to show a basic computer vision capability, but the way where we want to take this is to the point where this neural network has the capability to look at the car accident scene and establish the amount of loss. So that involves understanding how many vehicles are there, what type of vehicles, how badly they are damaged. And second thing, to establish probable cause. from the way, from the direction, from the GPS coordinates, where you're in a single road or you're in a junction or a cross section. You can tell a lot and give you a really good, let's say, confidence on establishing probable cause on a good number of cases. There's a rule book for this. So Max then just goes on to ask a few more questions. So let's just get this through, because in the end, he's going to say, fine, great, I have everything I need, so I'm going to dispatch this to the back office claims management application. So there we go. This is where now we started with the classic BPM instance. And we're going to say, fine, done. We're going to rate an AI. It's always nice to be kind. And now this is for the automation part. Now the augmentation part, just switch to the other tab. Throughout the conversation, we've been using a capability called tone analysis, which essentially breaks down a conversation or a text into 5 basic emotions. So we built this into Max so that when one of the bad emotions spikes above a certain threshold, probably that's going to be an indication of some anxiety or even frustration. So that's when we know, or Max can know, that's not performing up to the expectation. And if it does, if that happens, so it suggests to bring in a human. The flip side of this is that a human customer service representative can be in the background monitoring several ongoing conversations. And if he sees some mix of emotions that doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right, he or she can preemptively hijack the conversation and fill in for the bot. So this is the augmentation part. We hope to get this to a point where a human customer representative can do the work of 10 using this kind of technology, right? So that's about it for the demo. Thank you, Jose. With this, we expect to be able to deflect incoming calls and emails from call centers from 30 to 50%, and certainly provide a better, more consistent user experience. Kpmg has made it a point, a strategic decision, actually we call it the Strategic Growth Initiative, to bet on cognitive and digital labor. We started early, and we started with IBM. Again, we also think that IBM has an edge on this. They started back in, well, the story that made the IBM famous is 2011 with Jeopardy, where they won the competition. A machine won the competition over the top human contenders some 6 years ago. And ever since, they've been investing millions of dollars of bringing that kind of technology into the industry. And we established a strategic partnership with IBM in March 2016. So we have a number of use cases right now that we're bringing into the industry, and combine that with the fact that we have subject matter expertise pretty much in every business across the globe. Before I go, I just want to leave you with one thought. I don't know if it's the next 3 years or the next 5 that's going to be more disrupted than the previous 50. I feel that something big of magnitude is coming, and it's about what we've been talking about in this room. However, our ability to dream, our ability to imagine, and our creativity, it's at the core of human value. And that is going to remain unparalleled throughout ages to come. Thank you.